This is a story time of how I found out that someone has been working witchcraft over my life, and I found out who it was a couple weeks ago. Let me start off by saying that witchcraft does run in both my bloodlines.
This client wanted to run down on her ops in the spiritual realm.
Ladies, before you even think about moving in with a man, getting engaged or married, you better check to see if his family are full of witches and warlocks. Yes, I'm
Do something with it.
It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming, it's just.
This is a story time of how I found out that someone has been working witchcraft over my life, and I found out who it was a couple weeks ago. Let me start off by saying that witchcraft does run in both my bloodlines of the family. I am Jamaican. I just never believed in it, and I always thought that if I don't believe in something, that it can't reach me. But boy, was I wrong. So I'm gonna start by 2 years ago, which was everything went downhill for my life. Prior to this, my business was up, business was booming, bought my car, everything. I was prospering. I moved into a new place, and a couple months into that, I actually had a rapture dream. And the dream was God was calling me. So I took that very serious. Couple months after that, me and this person wasn't talking at this time, but a couple months after that, I got into a car accident. The day of my accident, I just felt uneasy and I felt like something was gonna happen. I just didn't know what. 5 minutes later, after I left my house, I got into a car accident that left me with back injury, nerve damage in my arm and my knee. Again, I wasn't speaking to that person at the time, but I had to speak to them in order to sort out my car situation. So we rekindled whatever, we're cool, whatever. Couple months after that, I had a sleep paralysis in my dream. I was sleeping on my stomach this time, and I just felt a dark figure overshadowing over me, and I just couldn't move. But I was awake mentally or whatever. I didn't read the Bible as much growing up or whatever, but for some reason I recited this one Bible verse in my head, and that's how I woke up out of that. It was the walking through the valley of death, shadow valley of death, whatever. See, I don't even know it right now by heart, but I knew it in my sleep to wake up. Then I ended up having to move, and I moved into a new place. This person didn't know where I moved, but they ended up getting my address because they wanted to deliver something to me or ship something to me or whatever. Ever since then, things started to take a turn. Let me say this, I didn't pick up on any of these things until a couple weeks ago when I asked God to reveal these things to me. I started seeing flies in my house, black flies, like regular flies. And it was like I was killing 6 to 10 flies a day. There was no open spaces in my house for me to see where the flies were coming from. Like I was spending day and night trying to figure out where they're coming from, until I found out that's one of the signs that someone is working witchcraft over you. And it was just so ironic when they found out my address that all these things are happening. The next thing is I've been having snake dreams, and when I mean snake dreams, I'm talking thousands of snakes in my dream, until I found out that's another sign of somebody working witchcraft over you. Take your dream serious. This person had delivered something to my house, and I had it in my house because it was furniture. I ended up losing my place and had to find somewhere else. For the past 2 years, my mental health has been so bad. I've been stagnant. I've been in a repetitive cycle in my life, and I just could not figure out what it was. I had to stop running my hair business because of this. I had finance issues. I've lost my job, like a whole bunch of stuff. And it's like every time I don't speak to this person, this is what happened. Until a couple weeks ago, I deleted all my social media so the person no longer has access to know what I'm doing or me personally.
Witchy story time. Child, mama had a client, and bear in mind I had this client about a year ago. She was like, Mama Red, please don't tell my story. You have to wait for a year to do so. So baby, your year is up and the NDA is over. Let's get into the story time. My client had been dating this guy for about 3 years. During this 3-year span, baby, my client got pregnant. In their culture, it is looked upon very negatively for being pregnant without being married. So her child's father proposed to her. Bear in mind, her husband's mama hated her. The mama will always give my client a hard time. So one day out of the blue, my client said that the mom actually came around. After she had the baby, her mother-in-law was like, you know what? I think you all should move into this house, the family house, and I'm going to put y'all up. So the mama came around and told her, I think you and my son should move into one of our family houses. Now, when my client told me that the mama wanted them to move into the house, my spider senses started going off. Now, the reason why my spider senses was going off was the mama had already done so much bullshit, child. I didn't trust her. I told my client, girl, be careful moving in that house, child. Now, by doing so much bullshit now, this is some of the stuff the mama was doing. The mama had it set up where the son didn't even eat none of the wives' cooking. Barely would eat their cooking. The mama insisted on cooking all of their meals. She even came across some text messages that the mama sent to her husband about her. I was like, girl, I don't trust that mama, child. I don't trust her. Now, fast forward, child, she done got married. She done had a baby. And now they moved into the house. This when all hell broke loose. So when my client moved into her husband's family house, she was like, Mama Red, me and my husband don't even be having no privacy no more. She was like, ever since my mother-in-law started washing my underwear, me and my husband ain't even had sex. I said, washing your underwear, girl. About 8 months after she told me all this was going on, she was like, Mama Red, I'm at my wit's end. I need you to come out to see what is going on. So I hopped in my priestess mode, child. I put my all white on and I took a trip to go see this client. I get out to the property and immediately, my spirit was on 10. I said, oh, baby, hey, there's something going on in this house. There's something on this land, baby. My spirits get to talking in my head. I said, show me where your bedroom is. Child, so she takes me up to the bedroom. Immediately, I found something. Now, remember I was telling you that this was my client's husband's family house, right? Now, when I get out to the property, I went to the bedroom. I'm in the bedroom now, right? Child, it's this big ass mirror facing their bed. Now, something told me, take that mirror down and look behind it. Now, when I take the mirror down and I look behind the actual mirror, child, it was this little brown piece of paper with a fucking language on it that I can't even read. My client can't even read, and we not even sure what the hell this paper said. But my spirits knew what that paper said. I said, baby, this is something that this ain't right. We need to get this shit up out of here. So I do something and we get rid of this paper that we found on the back of this mirror. We go outside to walk the property on the actual yard. Child, my spider senses started going off again. I go and I do a divination real quick. Child, not the mama got something buried on this property. I was getting downloads and I did a divination and it did come out that there was more stuff buried on the actual property. I said, girl, I don't know what you gonna do, but this is a little house of horrors. Girl, I don't know what you was gonna do, but if I was you, I'd get the hell out of here. This house and his family. Get your family up out of here, child, and run for greener pastures. Fast forward to now, child, the lady is in a marriage that she really can't get out of. The mother-in-law totally rules her household. She ended up writing me back and said, Mama Red, I ended up finding out what there was on the back of my mirror. It was her husband's native tongue to call on a demon. I said, girl, God bless you, girl. Girl, God bless you, girl. God bless you. And to this day, I still think it was the mother-in-law that was doing all this shit. Child, sometimes it be your own people. Y'all be safe out here.
Child, before she even told me what was behind that mirror and what it says in that language, I knew that the mother-in-law was doing mirror magic on them, especially that mirror being in their bedroom. That is why they say do not have mirror facing directly in your bedroom, because mirrors are portals. Never make two mirrors face to face to each other. So don't stand two mirrors looking exactly at each other, because you are creating a portal. But why would she move into the house knowing that her mother-in-law did not like her in the beginning? And her mother-in-law, child, she was working that magic on you. And now that you are in that marriage, you are stuck. And I've seen this so many times, especially like I watch a lot of African movies, and I see that all the time where the mother-in-law just cannot stand the daughter-in-law, and they would go as far as like doing spiritual work on the mother and the daughter-in-law, just so the daughter-in-law won't have children and all that craziness. So you got to be very careful, because men out here, not only are they doing rituals on their relationship, but also their parents are also doing rituals. So you got to be very careful out here. You might say, oh, it's demonic, or it's this, you need Jesus, da 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 da. And if you don't dabble in it, then it's not going to hurt you. Trust me, what you don't know will hurt you. What you don't know can hurt you. Okay, so be careful. Just because you believe in God does not mean those things cannot harm you. So you got to be very careful, and you have to, you know, be vigilant, basically, because you just never know. And people out here are just looking on TikTok and doing spiritual work on other people, not knowing that it can actually backfire and harm you, or it can really harm the person that you're trying to do the work on. Even though you try to do a quote unquote love spell, you don't know, because if that person, you could do a love spell on someone, but if that person is crazy, they will come to you and they will love you, but they're going to also come with craziness. They're going to also be just as crazy as they were before, because that love spell is not going to change the personality of the person. It's just going to make the person be more into you. They're not going to want to do anything without you. So they're going to, instead of actually going to work and be at work and do their job, they're going to be thinking about you all day long, but they're still going to be texting that side chick that they talk to all the time. It doesn't change that. It's just that it makes them more attentive to you. They just want to be with you all the time. It doesn't change anything. So you have to be careful when it comes to stuff like that. Do not dabble in things that you do not understand, because it can actually hurt you. Anyway, that's my take on it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and those stories. I will see you in the next video. Bye.
Yo, tree.
Ladies, before you even think about moving in with a man, getting engaged or married, you better check to see if his family are full of witches and warlocks. Yes, I mean his mammy and his pappy. Do they play with black magic? Do they go see witch doctors? Do they cast spells? Do they put shit in people's food? You better find out all of that. Do the women in his family, his aunties, his female cousins, his nieces, baby mamas, the women in general in his family, do they behave like they want to sleep with him? In other words, they don't act like relatives, they act like lovers. That is all witchcraft. That is emotional incest. You want no parts of him or his family, because they have a strong demonic hold on him. And if he's forced to choose, his family is going to put that pressure on him, and he's going to choose that dark energy every time and dog you out. His loyalty and alliance is to his demonic family. He's too weak and he's not a man of God.